There's a short story which backs up the saying, where there's smoke, there's fire. And if your gut is telling you something's wrong, definitely listen to it, especially if your gut is telling you something's wrong with a particular guy that is in your wife or girlfriend's life. Don't ever buy, he's just a friend, because obviously not. And last but not least, if something is not working, if it's not worth saving, don't try to fight a losing battle, especially with someone that doesn't want to make things work. Title: My wife of 8 years, a 31-year-old female, has told me she thinks she has feelings for someone else, and that she feels we only got married out of obligation. How do I proceed? Well, we know how this is going to go in terms of how you're going to proceed when she says she has feelings for somebody else. And a shout out to Evan for sending this story. He says, my wife, I'll refer to as M, and I have been had some real struggles this year. It started in March of 24, shortly after we decided to try and have a baby. And she had an ectopic, however you say that, pregnancy that had to be removed via emergency surgery. Wow, that's terrible. We found out she was pregnant on a Tuesday and went in for an ultrasound on that Friday, only to end up in the hospital for 12 hours after finding out it was ectopic and the surgery had to be done. Since then, things have not been the same. Well, that's understandable. She's messed up over that, but also this guy would be messed up over that. Neither of us probably emotionally processed this well, though we did our best to surround ourselves with loved ones for support. We should have talked about it together or with a therapist I know. Well, okay, but that doesn't mean you just throw in the towel with each other, but that's what she does. Fast forward to August, I unexpectedly had been let go from my job, which was a huge hit to my self-esteem. Something that I always struggle with. The reality ignited my anxiety, and I admit I have been really struggling with it since. I kept turning it in for support, but she was so wrapped up in her own stress and anxieties that she wasn't emotionally available for me. Well, you should be able to count on your wife to be there for you, of course. But there's one thing having her be there for you, another thing being your therapist. No woman wants to be a guy's therapist or his mommy. Women have the idea that no matter how bad it is, the guy has to figure it out. And to some extent, the guy has to be the leader and all that. But she sounds like she is checked out and she is done ever since what happened. And that ain't good. Amidst all this, she's been growing close to a mutual friend from church. Here we go. A 50s male married with several kids. He's in his 50s and she's 31. Someone has daddy issues. I noticed how much they talked and laughed together every Sunday morning. She would just spend all her time with him. Where's his wife? Where's his kids? And where are you in the picture of all this? And obviously, people are going to gossip at church just like they do anywhere else. This is not good. I brought up with her a few times as my past traumas from relationships were being triggered, and I told her it generally seemed like they were flirting. And it hurt to see that. She immediately dismissed it and told me I was being paranoid and that it upset her that I wasn't more secure. Gaslighting, she's twisting it around, putting it on him. Oh, you should be more secure. You're being paranoid. Da-da-da. You're the bad guy here. Blah, blah, blah. I wish you weren't that way. Yeah, well, I don't care. You don't do that. You're married to me. And given your behavior lately, no. You got to check that, guys. I've been trying to push down those feelings since and feel more secure, but they still come up. And I've been trying to address them with her. Dude, don't try to suppress feelings that are giant warning signs to yourself that something's wrong. This has been causing a bit of a rift since probably November, and we have been intimate and connecting, even though I've been trying to find ways to suggesting dates, trying to plan trips, so we can just focus on us. So you can see, guys, she has checked out of the relationship completely. It's not worth fighting for something when somebody else doesn't want to fight with you for it. And all the red flags are here, across the board. Well, amidst the holidays, this all got kind of lost. But we kept having arguments and tiptoeing around each other. Finally, it came to a point where she said that I should see a therapist because she couldn't handle my anxiety and paranoia. Telling you need to go to a therapist? I think she needs some therapy after everything that happened with the baby and all, which is understandable, but not this. This ain't cool. Yeah, you got to go to therapy, husband, because you're being so paranoid. As of this week, I've started therapy. And just since that discussion, I've been feeling much better, introspective, figuring out my triggers, our attachment styles, and looking into our love languages. I've tried to engage her in conversation about all these things, but she would just give a casual and not really participate. Because she doesn't give a shit. That's why. So I got to the point where last weekend I tried to figure out why she was so standoffish, and she said she really wasn't ready to discuss it. So we set a time for today to really dig down deep on everything that's going on. What's going on is she's having an affair. And if it's not with the dude in his 50s with multiple kids at church, it's with somebody else. Look at her behavior here. She's just biding her time, locking in the next relationship so she can leave when she has a guy ready to go. That's what she's doing here. Come on. So this morning we sat down, and I'd written out several paragraphs describing some of my discoveries, apologizing for not being as emotionally available, and trying to lay out some steps for us to connect more, including couples therapy. Well, she thanked me and said she generally appreciated all that, but her next response was not what I expected. Notice this guy's trying so hard here and apologizing for something. He should be apologizing for shit. She isn't doing anything. Now listen to this. She basically flat out said that she felt our issues were beyond repair. And she felt like this for years. Years. Yes, we've had some communication issues, but to me, these are things that with the right tools and a third party, we can try and work out. If she wants it, dude, you want it, she doesn't. On top of that, she started to say that she's been feeling like we only got married because it's what we're supposed to do. I never felt that way, and this rocked me to my core to hear that. I felt bad for this guy. This guy's a good guy. He's trying to make it work and all. He obviously loves her, loves what he thought she was, and she could care less. But a lot of people get married because they figure that's just what they're supposed to do. That's what their culture says. That's what their religion says. Everybody else is doing it. Pressure from mom and dad, whatever. And that's a terrible mistake. And I feel bad for the people that marry people like that. Finally, she added the final layer. That the guy from our church that I had been paranoid about, she feels like she's in love with him. Yeah, let me guess, she'll probably blame it on him. You pushed us together. Shocker, and she told him that he's being paranoid. He should be more secure when he had issues with this. See? He was right. Nothing has happened between the two of them, and he has no idea, but to hear that broke my heart so much. She's claiming nothing's happened between this guy? Uh-huh. Something's happening with somebody. Well, deep down, I don't think she actually loves him. I think that I wasn't emotionally available as she needed at times, and she found some of that comfort in talking with him. Dude, do you see what he's doing here? And again, I'm sorry he's going through this. I think it's easier for him to say that it's his fault that things went wrong. Really, listen to me. Than accept that she has flaws. Because if she has flaws, then he has to accept the fact that he wasted so many years with her. He has to accept that he was wrong about her. So it's easier to say, I made mistakes as opposed to her. Really. Beyond that, I know this guy pretty well, and I don't think he'd leave his wife for 20 years or so for this. Dude, you never know. I try to dictate this, and that I still think we can work past these things with a couples therapist. Bro, she's done. She doesn't want to work anything out. Don't waste your time. But she is so confused that she's coming across as determined that there's nothing we can do. She's not confused. She knows exactly what she wants to do. Well, she ended up going to spend the night at her friend's house after 3 hours of talking, and we're supposed to find some time to regroup tomorrow. Fat chance. So is there anything I can say to open up the door to keep discussing therapy at least? I do love her very much, and I know she cares for me. Really? She has a funny way of showing it. I can't even fathom losing her, our relationship, our house, our family ties, etc. But also, how can I get past her letting me know she feels this way about our relationship and about someone else? Brother, she's done. There's no fixing this. Look at her actions. Look at what she's been saying. She's in love with somebody else. I mean, the list goes on and on. Don't torture yourself here. Come on here. She's done. Your life will be better. Life will move on. You're in how old are you? 35 years old. Now to his update when reality finally sets in with this guy. He says, first off, thank you for your thoughts and comments. I feel more at peace with how everything has gone down, largely thanks to some of the things you've said. So clearly a lot of people have been giving him a kind-hearted dose of reality, which he needs. The next day was full of more phone calls, talks with others, distracting myself, just waiting for her to finally contact me so we could talk. I had hopes that she might at least be open to discussion, but when we finally did sit down talk, she was brief. In short, she said she made her decision, and that it was over. She reinforced that she wasn't leaving me for someone, but regardless, there was little discussion after that short of what the next few weeks look like for us. She's now back at her friend's house for now, while I'm at the house sorting some things out and lining up a place for me to stay long term. It will just be a clean break with everything, and I'm definitely at a point where I'm just looking forward to the next chapter. So notice how the first part of the story, before the update here, this guy's really, really trying. Then she comes back and says what she had to say, and he's like, well, looking forward to the next chapter now. I think he's skipping out in the part where he probably was deeply upset and all that. Fair enough, okay, but still. As far as the other guys go, a pastor from our church that I know very well, and I've been talking to these last few days about all this, thought that now that's done, we should let the other guy know. Apparently the guy in his 50s, had zero idea that's how she's feeling, and was regretful of his part in this. Well, either she had a major crush on the guy, and the guy didn't know, and he was doing his Christian duty and being kind to her, because he probably heard about the whole baby thing and everything, or he's lying through his teeth and had something going on. I don't know. Though he said it was unintentional. Someone pointed out that he might have known, and even if he didn't mean to, he might have enjoyed the attention. But I'm going to try to be optimistic. I know his family, and I don't want anything bad to happen to them. Like I said at this point, I'm just ready for all this to be done, to cut her out, and move on. So here's to a new beginning, and better beginning in 2025. Anyhow, guys, there you go. So this guy went through a whole lot of crap. You saw he was trying. She was done. When women don't make any effort, that says everything. People's actions say everything, gentlemen. For all you relationship guys. So again, where there's smoke, there's fire. In this story, there was a whole lot of fire. There's wildfires here, wildfires there. When your gut is telling you something wrong, as it did with this guy, listen to it. Particularly when they talk about other guys saying, oh, don't worry about him. Or he's just a friend. You heard her saying that and blaming him. And guess what? He was right. Either she has something going on with that guy or somebody else, but something wasn't right. And last, if the other person does not want to try to work in the relationship because you got problems, whatever that may be, don't waste your time. Don't try to force something. It ain't going to end well. So my prediction is they're going to divorce or get darn close to it. And either after the divorce or close to it, she's going to realize she needs this guy a lot more than she realized, and she's going to try to get back with him. And I would say don't do it, because they always come back. Or at the last minute realize, oh shit, things are going to work out with the guy I really want. And hopefully he makes the right choice. Anyway, guys, a lot to learn from this short story.